Day 1. 73 BC. You are riding in a cramped wooden cage, surrounded by captives like you. Roman legionaries are escorting you to the capital. The cart enters Rome. Huge stone walls and temples crush you with their grandeur. You are brought to the slave market. A noisy crowd of citizens gathers around. You are roughly pulled out of the cage and placed on a high wooden platform. A heavy wooden sign with your age and skills is hung around your neck. A slave owner in a clean white toga inspects you like common cattle. He hits you in the teeth with a cane, roughly checking your health and stamina. You are bought for a handful of copper coins. Your life is worth less than a pig's. A red-hot iron brand with the new master's crest is pressed against your shoulder. Unbearable pain pierces your body. The smell of burning flesh hits your nose. Your hands and feet are immediately locked in heavy, rusty chains. The overseer whips your back and drives you forward with a scream. You walk through the narrow, dirty streets of Rome, full of garbage and filth. Wealthy patricians pass by on litters, turning away in disgust. You are brought to a giant stone quarry outside the city. It's dusty and suffocating here. Your task is to mine heavy white marble to build temples. Day 2. You wake up before dawn from a sharp kick to the ribs. You are forced to climb down to the very bottom of the pit. Only a dull thudding sound surrounds you. You strike the solid rock with a pickaxe. Sparks fly right into your face. The wooden handle rubs the bones of your hands to blood, but you cannot stop. Stone dust clogs your lungs. It becomes unbearably hard to breathe. An old, skinny slave collapses right next to you from pure exhaustion. The overseer doesn't give him water. He simply starts whipping him. In fear, you keep hacking at the stone, desperate not to take his place. Noon arrives. The sun beats down so hard that the stones become scorching hot. Your lunch is a scoop of murky, rotten water and a piece of stale bread. The bread is so hard you could easily break your jaw on it. You eat right on the dirty ground, mixing pitiful crumbs with stone dust. The work continues until late at night. Your body refuses to serve you anymore. You are forced to carry heavy marble blocks on your fragile shoulders. The sharp edges of the stone cut the skin on your back down to the meat. Day 3. At the master's whim, you are transferred to a new job in the city. You are forced down into the Cloaca Maxima, the main Roman sewer. Pitch black darkness and an unbearable, overwhelming stench of rot reign here. You stand knee-deep in filth, garbage, and dead animals. Your task is to clear the stuck waste from the grates with your bare hands. Cat-sized rats aggressively jump right onto your legs. Cold, dirty water pours from the drains above straight onto your head. Your head spins violently from the toxic fumes. There's nothing to breathe. You nearly pass out, risking drowning in this horrific swamp. By evening, you are brought to the surface. You vomit violently from the smell. Instead of resting, you are immediately sent to clean the public baths of the patricians. Wealthy Romans luxuriate in warm, crystal-clear water. You crawl on your knees, scrubbing the marble floor of their dirt and oils. One of the noble lords deliberately drops a goblet of red wine right next to you. He kicks you in the face for supposedly dirtying his floor yourself. You silently wipe up the spilled wine with your own torn tunic. Late at night, you are herded into an ergastulum, a cramped, damp cellar for slaves. You sleep on bare stone, chained to the wall by a short chain. Day 4. Early in the morning, you and other slaves are loaded onto a cart. You are taken far outside the city to your master's massive vineyards. The sun beats down mercilessly. Endless rows of vines stretch to the horizon. Your task is to pick heavy baskets of grapes and drag them to the press. The dry vines are thorny. They leave deep, bleeding scratches on your arms. Angry wasps sting your skin, but you dare not stop to swat them away. A cruel overseer with a long wooden stick constantly stands behind your back. He mercilessly beats anyone who slows down or tries to eat a berry. The baskets weigh so much that your legs buckle with every step. You bring your load to a giant wooden crushing vat. Inside, slaves trample the grapes with their feet, mixing juice with their sweat. You are forced to climb in too. The acidic juice burns your fresh wounds. You walk in circles for hours like a mindless animal at a watermill. Noon. Lunch is served right in the field under the scorching sun. It's a bowl of spoiled bean slop with white maggots swimming in it. You swallow this brew because there won't be any other food until tomorrow. Drinking water is critically scarce. You suffer from agonizing thirst. A neighboring slave passes out directly into the deep vat of grapes. He is simply dragged out by the legs and left lying in the blazing sun. You are forced to work for 2 to make up for his absence. In the evening after work, you must gather dry branches for kindling. You drag a massive bundle of firewood that is twice your size. Your back won't straighten. You walk bent completely in half to the ground. At night, you are all herded into a cramped field shed with a leaky roof. A cold, heavy rain begins. You are chilled to the very bone. Day 5. The master throws a grand feast for the senators. You are urgently recalled from the fields and forced to serve in the house. You are roughly scrubbed with ice water in the yard so you won't stink of manure. dressed in a clean tunic, but the heavy chains on your legs remain. The grand hall is lit by hundreds of oil lamps and overflowing with food. The tables groan with roasted boars, exotic birds, and ripe fruits. You carry heavy silver platters to the couches where the guests recline. The smell of hot meat drives your empty, starving stomach insane. The guests gorge themselves, laugh loudly, and throw bones right on the floor. One of the senators gets heavily drunk and starts acting aggressively. He splashes hot broth right into your face, just for fun. You endure the burning pain and bow silently, not daring to look up. When the patricians can eat no more, they go to a special room. It's the vomitorium. Here they artificially induce vomiting to continue eating. Your task is to clean up their disgusting warm mess. You are turned inside out by the sight and smell, but you must scrub the floor. While you work, the master tosses a whole cut of meat to his hunting dog. The dog in this house eats better than you ever have in your entire life. Deep into the night, the grand feast finally ends. The guests depart. The slaves rush to finish the pitiful scraps left on the dirty floor. You find a half-eaten apple and devour it greedily, core and all. Suddenly the house steward catches you in the act. Stealing food from the master's table is the most serious crime for a slave. You are brutally beaten with heavy clubs right in the middle of the empty kitchen. Beaten half to death, you are dragged back to the cold ergastulum. Day 6. You barely wake up in a puddle of your own blood. The master decides you are too weak and problematic to work in his house. You are taken to a local healer to be made presentable before being sold. Roman medicine for slaves is worse than any sophisticated torture. The doctor uses no anesthetics or clean instruments. Your festering wounds are simply seared with white-hot iron. You scream so loudly that your voice instantly breaks into a hoarse croak. To keep you still, 4 guards pin you down to the table with all their might. Then you are led back out to the noisy street and put up for sale. This time you are bought by a lanista, a cruel gladiator school owner. He isn't looking for great warriors, but for the cheapest cannon fodder for the arenas. You are taken to a ludus, an elite and deadly gladiator school in Capua. There are no names here, only insulting nicknames and branded serial numbers. You are housed in a cramped stone cell measuring 2 by 2 meters. Training begins immediately, right on the scorching sandy courtyard. You are given an incredibly heavy wooden sword and a shield made of rough planks. Your sparring partner is a massive scar-covered Thracian. He hits you so hard with a wooden sword that he breaks your rib. An instructor with a whip brutally forces you to get back on your feet. If you don't stand up yourself, they will just finish you off right here on the sand. You only learn to dodge, because you have no strength to attack. Your entire remaining life now comes down to strikes, blood, and sweat. In the evening, you are given food. A thick barley porridge mixed with ash. The ash is meant to strengthen bones, though it tastes like plain dirt. You try to sleep on the straw, listening to the groans of wounded gladiators around you. Day 7, the great games at the giant Flavian amphitheater, the Colosseum. You and other newcomers are loaded into dark, closed wagons. You ride for a long time in total darkness. The air reeks of fear and urine. You are unloaded in the Hypogeum, the gloomy dungeons directly beneath the arena. The deafening, vibrating roar of a 50,000-strong crowd is heard from above. Sand and drops of someone else's fresh blood fall from the ceiling straight onto you. In adjacent cramped cages, starving lions brought from Africa roar fiercely. You realize your fate. You are the morning program. Execution by beasts. You will be thrown to the wild animals just for the crowd's light warm-up. Guards with sharp spears herd you onto a wooden elevator. A complex mechanism creaks as it lifts the platform up toward the bright light. The blinding Roman sun strikes your eyes. You find yourselves in the center of the arena. The massive tiered stands are packed to the brim with spectators in white togas. The emperor sits in his golden box, lazily eating fresh grapes. You are given no weapons, absolutely no chance of survival. A pack of incredibly hungry tigers is released onto the arena from the underground gates. The crowd explodes in frantic delight, anticipating a bloody spectacle. Without hesitation, the beasts instantly pounce on the weakest slaves. The man next to you is torn to pieces right before your eyes. A high fountain of blood sprays directly onto the yellow sand of the Colosseum. In a panic, you run away, trying to hide behind decorative rocks. A massive tiger spots you and begins to approach slowly, gracefully. Its ruthless yellow eyes stare at you with cold, hungry fury. You grab someone else's broken dagger from the ground, preparing for imminent death. The beast tenses its muscles and makes a deadly leap straight at you. At the very last second, you miraculously plunge the broken blade into the tiger's neck. The enormous, heavy carcass of the beast falls on you, pinning you to the sand. With great difficulty, you shove the animal off, choking on its blood. The 50,000-strong crowd falls silent for a second, then erupts into applause. An unarmed slave surviving a fight with a beast is extremely rare. The emperor himself lazily raises his hand and gives a thumbs up. You are mercifully granted your life. At least until your next performance. The heavy iron gates creak open, inviting you back into the darkness. The guards lock you in chains once more and lead you back to the dungeon. You survived these terrifying 7 days in Great Rome, but this is only the beginning of your journey.